They thought the door had closed on your life. They watched you lose the job, the relationship, the plan you built your whole identity around. They saw you standing in the dark, and they whispered, "It's over for them." But tonight, July 30th, under a moon our ancestors called the buck moon, something is happening that no one can see yet. Not an ending, a hidden turning point. What if the closed door was actually protecting your breakthrough? For centuries, this moon has carried a name earned in silence, the buck moon. Named for the season when young bucks push new antlers through their skin, not out of comfort, but out of necessity. Growth that hurts before it shows. This is not a moon of endings. It is a moon of shedding. Shedding the old identity. Shedding the version of you that begged for closed doors to open. Shedding the timeline you thought you controlled. Tonight, somewhere, you are lying awake. You feel it, that strange stillness in your chest, like something is shifting beneath the surface of your life, even though nothing around you has changed. Listen to the wind outside your window. It isn't just wind, it's a season turning. And if you're honest with yourself, haven't you felt that turning for weeks now, even if you couldn't name it? Maybe it was the rejection letter you read 3 times, hoping the words would change. Maybe it was the relationship that ended not with an explosion, but with a slow, quiet fading. The kind of ending that hurts more because no one even said goodbye properly. Maybe it was the job, the title you worked years for, gone in a single meeting that lasted 11 minutes. Maybe it was the betrayal, from someone who was supposed to protect you, not break you. Maybe it was the money that never came, the delay that stretched from weeks into months into years, while you watched everyone else's life move forward and yours stood frozen in place. Maybe it was the prayer you whispered so many times, it started to feel foolish to keep whispering it. You did everything right. You showed up. You tried. You believed. And still, the door closed. Here is the truth no one told you in that moment. A closed door is not proof that you were wrong. Sometimes it's proof that you were about to walk into the right room at the wrong time. But knowing that didn't make the silence after the door closed any easier to survive. Did it? You kept knocking. Nothing opened. You kept asking. Nothing answered. You kept waiting by the phone, the mailbox, the inbox, waiting for a sign that never seemed to come. And in that silence, a dangerous thought crept in. Maybe I've been forgotten. That silence felt like abandonment. It felt like proof that you were somehow overlooked, that the universe, or God, or fate had simply moved on without you. But here is the twist. Silence is not always absence. Sometimes silence is the sound of something being built where you cannot see it yet. Think of the ocean before a storm, the strange stillness in the air, the birds gone quiet, the water holding its breath. That stillness isn't nothing. That stillness is before. What if the silence you've been surviving wasn't the universe ignoring you? What if it was the universe working on something too important to rush? Nothing that grows all at once. A seed doesn't break through the earth the moment it's planted. First, it disappears. First, it goes into complete darkness. First, it does the invisible work, cracking open, sending roots down before it ever sends a stem up. If you dug up that seed in its first weeks, you'd think it failed. You'd see no flower, no fruit, no proof of life. But underground, everything was happening. That's what's been happening in you. While the door stayed closed, you were building something they can't take away this time. Emotional strength forged in silence. Wisdom that only pain teaches. Boundaries you didn't know how to set before. Clarity about what you'll never again accept. Resilience that wasn't there a year ago. You didn't lose that season. You were becoming in that season. You weren't left behind. You were being rebuilt from the root up. Look at your hands right now. The same hands that once trembled from heartbreak. Are they trembling the same way today? Breakthroughs rarely announce themselves loudly. They arrive first as small, quiet shifts inside you. Signs so subtle, most people miss them completely. Here are 3. Sign 1. Sudden detachment from what once hurt. You used to check. You used to replay the conversation, the rejection, the goodbye, over and over in your mind. And then one day, you realize you haven't thought about it in hours. Not because you forced yourself to forget, but because it simply stopped having power over you. Have you noticed that happening to you lately? Sign 2. Unexplained inner calm. Nothing outside has changed. The bills are still due, the apartment is still empty, and yet there's a strange peace sitting in your chest that has no logical explanation. That peace is not denial. That peace is preparation. Have you felt a calm you can't quite explain? Sign 3. New opportunities appearing quietly. A message from someone you hadn't heard from in years. An idea that suddenly feels possible. A door, smaller, quieter than the one that closed, creaking open just slightly. These signs rarely arrive as fireworks. They arrive as whispers. The breakthrough doesn't kick the door down. It knocks softly, waiting to see if you're ready to answer. So tell me, which of these 3 have you already started to feel? Her name doesn't matter. Her story might be yours. She had built her whole identity around one dream, a small bakery she opened with money saved over 11 years. She poured everything into it, her savings, her sleep, her sense of who she was. And then, in a single season, it collapsed. Rising costs, a lease that wasn't renewed, a partnership that fell apart in betrayal she never saw coming. She stood in that empty bakery on the last night, the ovens cold for the first time in years, and she whispered the words so many of us have whispered. It's over. I have nothing left. For months she didn't bake anything, not even for herself. The joy felt buried under the wreckage of what she'd lost. But here is the twist she never saw coming. One evening, exhausted and half hoping no one would answer, she posted something online. Not a business, just a single photo of bread she'd made for her neighbor, who was grieving a loss of her own. A small act, nothing strategic. Just her hands, doing the only thing they knew how to do. That one photo reached someone, then another. Then a local shop asking if she'd supply bread for their shelves. No lease, no debt, no risk. Just her hands and a small oven in her own kitchen. 18 months later, she wasn't running the bakery she lost. She was running something smaller, freer, and somehow more hers than anything she'd built before. She didn't get her old life back. She got her real one. She told a friend once, "If that door had never closed, I would have spent my whole life defending a dream that was never actually mine to begin with." What if the thing you're mourning right now isn't the end of your story, but the closing of a chapter you were never meant to finish? There is a moment, and if you are watching this tonight, under this same moon, it may be happening to you right now, when everything shifts. Not because circumstances changed, because you did. You look back at the door that closed, and for the first time, you don't feel the old grief. You feel something closer to understanding. The door did not close to punish me. It closed to redirect me. This is the buck moon turning point. The moment the antlers finally break through the skin, and what once felt like pain reveals itself as growth. The moment you realize you're not the person who walked through that door months ago, heartbroken, desperate, uncertain. You're the person standing beneath this moon tonight, changed, rooted, quietly ready. You don't need the old door to open. You need to notice the new path already glowing under your feet. If tonight is truly your turning point, will you recognize it when it comes? Or will you still be staring at the door that was never coming back? Before the breakthrough can fully arrive, something has to be released. Not given away by force, released gently, the way a hand finally unclenches after holding on too tightly for too long. Release the resentment toward the person who left, the company that let you go, the friend who disappeared. Resentment doesn't punish them. It only keeps you standing at a door that already closed. Release the comparison. Their timeline is not your timeline. Their door opening has nothing to do with yours staying closed. Their season is not a measurement of your worth. Release the regret. The what if I had stayed, the what if I had said something different. You made the best decision you could with the information and the heart you had at the time. That is enough. That was always enough. Release the need to control the timing. This is the hardest one. Because somewhere inside you still believes that if you just try a little harder, plan a little more carefully, worry a little more intensely, you can force the next door to open faster. But some things cannot be rushed, only trusted. You are not behind. You are exactly where the next chapter needs you to be. What would your life feel like tonight if you finally set down the weight you've been carrying since the door closed? No one can promise you exactly what comes next, but something is possible now that wasn't possible before the door closed. Healthier relationships, the kind built on honesty instead of anxiety, where you're chosen, not just tolerated. Meaningful work, not just a paycheck, but something that feels like it was made for your particular hands, your particular mind. Renewed confidence, the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself, because it finally lives inside you instead of depending on outside approval. Spiritual peace, a steadiness that doesn't disappear the moment life gets difficult again. Creative purpose, an idea, a project, a calling that had been waiting patiently for you to have enough room in your life to finally notice it. None of this is guaranteed by simply watching a video or wishing or hoping passively. But it becomes possible the moment you stop standing at the closed door and start walking toward the open field. What's coming for you was never available to the old version of you. It was waiting for who you're becoming. Can you feel it, even faintly, that something is different now than it was when this season began? Here is the revelation this entire night has been leading you toward. The breakthrough was never only about getting something, it was about becoming someone new. You thought you were waiting for the job offer, the apology, the relationship, the money, the answer. But underneath all of that, you were becoming the version of yourself who could actually hold those things without losing yourself again. The version who sets boundaries, the version who knows their worth without needing it confirmed by someone else's choice to stay or leave. The door didn't close to keep something from you. It closed to give you time to become someone who could finally receive it. That is the breakthrough. Not just what arrives, but who arrives to meet it. And that person is already standing right here, right now, reading these words. Picture yourself standing beneath the buck moon one last time tonight. Feel the cool air, hear the quiet. Watch the moonlight begin to soften as the first light of dawn touches the horizon. The door behind you is still closed. It may never open again. And for the first time, that's all right. Because ahead of you is a path that didn't exist when that door was still open. A path only visible now, in this light, to the person you've quietly become. Maybe the door closed because your next chapter was too extraordinary to begin in the room you were trying to stay in. If this message found you at exactly the right moment tonight, if some part of you, watching this under this same July moon, felt like it was written just for you, write it in the comments. I am ready for my breakthrough. Not as a superstition, not as a guarantee, but as a promise to yourself that you're done standing at the closed door and ready to walk toward the light that's already waiting for you.